Hiya, guys. We have trinket tuning, we have class tuning. I'm not gonna ramble and do stuff. Here's a cat. We, of course, have our water. We're not gonna try it. We're not trying to wake the cat, but cracking the water is necessary. Because assassination buffs are banger. Anyways, cheers. And then let's get into it. Alright, so trinket hotfixes. They buffed basically everything. Delve trinkets. This is the gear grinder, the keys, the spare keys. Whistle, so this is from Dark Flame Cleft. You can go through the list. It doesn't really matter. I already simmed them all. There's very few changes. And then we have rogue tuning. Assassination. They nerfed the two-piece, the old two-piece, not the new one. So max stacks have been reduced to 5. They cut it in half. This change now makes it so that the old two-piece is equal in item level, in power, to an equal item level piece. So 639 old tier is equal to 639 new tier. So you will be replacing the old tier and going 4-piece very quickly. Also, this is... Alright. So, again, 639, equal item level, equal power, equal everything. We also got a buff, which is crazy. I didn't expect this buff at all. Especially considering our AoE is so strong in M+. It doesn't make much sense. But we take buffs. We're happy with that. And then there's the Mutilate and Ambush buffs. Now, I could not have predicted this in a million years. This buff, this nerf to the tier set, I saw coming from like a mile away. We've been kind of talking about this for weeks. But Mutilate and Ambush is crazy. Especially 40% is wild. We have numbers on that. There's some talent changes that happen. So, we'll go into that. We'll cover the raid stuff first. We'll go Trinket, then the buff, then talent, and whatever, right? So, here we go. First of all, Trinkets. Now, this is with the old talent setup, right? But the talent setup doesn't impact the Trinkets at all. So, these numbers are a little bit off, but, whatever. First of all, Mega Magnet. Pretty good. It was pretty good before, because this does plague damage. Plague damage is nature damage. And Lingering Darkness is not whitelisted. So Lingering Darkness works on all of the items, right? So that's cool. So Mega Magnet buffed, cast it during Lingering Darkness. It's really good. It's competitive with Sephorium in single target. Z's Thug Hotline got buffed. Spare Keys got buffed. These are a little bit behind. The Whistle got buffed. Everything got buffed here, and it's like... It's not Biss, but it's closer, right? It's closer. So, they're not as trolly anymore, but they're still kind of behind. Next, here's the actual buff in single target. So this is all things considered, but no talent swaps, right? So no talent swaps yet. We're still on the old talents. This is the 3% aura buff, the Ambush and Mutilate buff. 5% in single target, right? Pretty solid, sizable thing. Then we change talents to this. You can see the difference here. So again, the current setup, right, is our typical raid build here. Improved Garrote, Master Assassin. The new build here takes Vicious Venom in place of Improved Garrote and Master Assassin. These are the weakest links, these 3 talents. Bleed talents are in general the weakest links because bleeds in single target are really... So we drop as many bleed talents as possible, basically. Improved Garrote, Master Assassin, Arterial Precision. They all go away. You get left with this. You take Tiny Toxic Blade because it's a little bit of an energy save. And then Vicious Venom comes through and gives us more damage on our Ambush and Mutilate, which, again, just got buffed, so bonus damage. Alright, makes sense. This does slow the spec down a little bit. No pooling conditions, though. No nothing. And I just want to go over, real quick, some things that happen when you talent into Vicious Venoms, because... a lot of people haven't played with this in a while. So, as a reminder, clear the Witnesses procs. If you're talented into Vicious Venoms, do not cast Fan of Knives to consume this, right? You have Vicious Venoms, your Mutilate is more important. Don't consume the Clear the Witnesses proc in single target. Like, 2+ is fine, but single target, Don't do it. Also with Fan of Knives, if you're talented into Vicious Venoms, you do not Fan of Knives until 4 targets. Yes, 4 targets. So, I have a sim for this as well. This is obvious. Don't look at this number. This number is kind of irrelevant because it's a 3 target sim, whatever. Don't take the number too seriously. Just know it's a gain to Fan of Knives on 4 instead of 3 with Vicious Venoms, right? That's the important part. 4 targets instead of 3. Don't consume Clear the Witnesses, right? Just double checking real quick to make sure that everything... Right, okay. Now, the other change that happens, right, is we don't have Improved Growth, and we don't have Master Assassin, and we don't have Arterial Precision. You can still take Arterial Precision, and that can be good, especially in some fights like, for example, Gallywix, where your Shiv will then cleave off onto the adds, and that'll increase your caustic spatter damage, right? This is pure single target, so in pure single target, it's about equal. But with adds up, you probably want to keep Arterial Precision instead of Tiny Toxic Blade, just to make sure that you can cleave the adds better with Caustic Spatter, right? So that's an optimization that, in reality, probably you stick with Arterial Precision just to spread improved Shiv, so that, you know, Caustic Spatter damage, like I said. In pure single target, like Sprocketmonger, I would probably take Tiny Toxic, because what's the point? But, yeah, any ad fight, just swap this out, take Arterial Precision again, good to go. The loss of Improved Garrote and Master Assassin, however, means that there is no reason to Vanish. So Vanish, not a thing anymore in raids. That simple, really. You can Vanish to reapply your mark, but other than that, if you're playing Vicious Venoms, no Vanish. You can just not use it. That's pretty cool. You can hold it. You can swap targets with it. For example, on Carnage, you can Vanish when they clash together. Move your mark that way. I know some people have been complaining about having to move their mark. So this build probably helps with that. And so that on top of the 5% here is 5.7%, almost 6% of a buff. Overall, good stuff. Raid done. M+, moving on. Less yap. All right. So M+ hasn't changed much. Again, all of these things have gotten buffed, right? We still see the spare keys. We still see Mega Magnet. We see Remnant of Darkness, the Whistle, Sigil of Concordance. These are all the trinkets that got buffed. Again, they're still behind because Zephorium is so strong in M+, it's crazy, right? Zephorium is just a crazy, crazy trinket in M+. Crit is really good in AoE. It has a really good uptime. It's like 50% uptime. Has agility on the main stat. Like, you can't go wrong with this, right? So all of these direct damage trinkets just suck. They can't keep up. Can't keep up. Always Zephorium, even though these are like 0.3% better than they were before, they're not usable. Cool. Talents hasn't changed because Mutilate can't really take Mutilate and Vicious Venom stuff in M+. I will say, however, if you're playing a bleed build, so it doesn't take Dragon Tempered Blades or Poison Bomb, if you're unfamiliar with that, I have a video, the previous one, that goes over that. The build on Wowhead right now does take Tiny Toxic Blade. That will be swapping over to Blindside. Because of the Ambush and Mutilate buff, Blindside will be just strictly better, and it will buff the single target a little bit in M+. So make sure taking Blindside instead of Tiny Toxic, just going down the left side here. Cool. Here's some buff numbers. So again, this is the bleed build, 4.5% in Dungeon Slice. So this is dungeon build, 4.5%, 4.3 for hybrid. None of the optimizations here that we talked about with, you know, Clear the Witnesses and stuff applies to M+. Strictly single target, right? Because it's all hinged around Vicious Venoms, which you can't take in M+, because it's just not worth it. So M+, basically no changes, just a solid 4% buff. In Raid, bit of a talent swap, some rotational changes here and there because of the talent swap. You know, tier set now good, old tier set now bad. And that's it. Easy peasy. So cap it off. Buff's good. Free damage. Cheers. Alright, guys. Let me know if you have questions, and then we'll go from there.